focus.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Benson. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Stella, and this is Benson, Grandpa's favorite grandkid.
I'm Cleo, Grandpa's favorite grandkid.
I'm Denny, Grandpa's favorite grandkid.
I'm Amanda, Grandpa Chuckster's favorite grandkid.
I'm Jackie, Grandpa's favorite grandkid.
I'm Quincy, and this is Benson, and we're Grandpa's favorite grandkids.
And I'm here to tell the story of Charlie Delp, a story of
Love, labor, and
adventure on the high seas.
Grandpa was born in 1927, on May 9th, which I'm pretty sure was about a week before the planets formed. Or at least while the dinosaurs still roamed the Earth. Definitely before the Great Flood. But he survived that because he's an expert canoeist. None better.
None better than him. As a kid, Grandpa moved around a lot. He was born in St. Louis, Missouri, then moved to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and landed in Jackson, Mississippi in time to start first grade, along with a smoking habit. At 10, he quit smoking and moved 4 times in 1 year to New Orleans, then up to Colorado, then back to Missouri and University City.
as a teenager, Grandpa Chuckster spent 3 formative summers working on the farm for his Uncle Denzel, where he learned about hard work and doing a good job. He has some great stories, like the time that Uncle Denzel told him to go grab a wrench from the barn. After he strolled there and back, Uncle Denzel had some words. When I tell you to get something, you run.
I'm sure he passed those lessons on to my dad.
Who tried to pass them on to me.
Grandpa's dad, Hobart Talbot Delp, died young, when Grandpa was just 16. That is sad. That's when he and his sister Catherine and Mom Dortha moved to Fort Collins, Colorado, to be with his mom's 3 brothers. For Grandpa, this was a big deal. Feeling the big loving embrace of a family. It's something he's always felt and always wanted to give.
He doesn't talk about it much, but in 1945, at the end of World War II, Grandpa enlisted in the Navy and set sail for Japan as part of the U.S. occupation. He was transformed by the generosity and humanity of people he had been taught to hate. This sparked a lifelong passion to help others. He returned a true sailor of the high seas. Well, at least he learned how to get seasick. He's pretty darn good at that. I think he passed that along to some of us, too. I hope not me.
When he got back from the Navy in 1946, he enrolled in Colorado A&M University. He had met Grammy in high school and they got married in 1949 while they were still in college. That's a happy time, because if he hadn't met her, I wouldn't be here. He graduated the next year and they moved to Davis, California, where he earned his PhD in plant pathology at UC Davis.
After Grandpa Chuckster finished his PhD, he was offered a job with DuPont in Wilmington, Delaware. He and Grammy thought it was a great job opportunity, but they had no idea where Delaware was, so they had to look it up.
Their first home was what they called the wee house, just 2 teeny tiny rooms. That's when, mysteriously, the dads started to appear.
Dad Gary, my dad, was born in 1954.
Then Dad Brian, my dad, in 1956.
They thought these boys might be caused by something in the water, so in 1960 they moved to Bradenton, Florida, where Grandpa managed a research farm.
But that didn't stop the dads. Dad Scott showed up in 1961, the same year we broke ties with Cuba.
And if that wasn't enough, Dad David materialized in 1964 after they moved back to Delaware.
And so, Grandpa Chuckster and Grammy had their family, that big loving embrace, even though that may not quite be how the dads describe it.
Grandpa had a great career with DuPont, 32 years. That's longer than I've been alive. Way longer. God, he's old.
God, he's old.
God, he's old.
He's old.
With a modest mission of solving world hunger, he did research on new food-saving fungicides, collaborating with growers and scientists around the world, and helped found and lead the International Fungicide Resistance Action Committee, FRAC.
not to be confused with fracking.
He's the only person on the planet to participate in all 11 international congresses of plant pathology, and I got to go with him to one in Beijing, China. Thanks, Grandpa.
Grandpa Chuckster is an international plant pathology celebrity, known from Brussels to Auckland, from Kyoto to Johannesburg. Really, he's a famous phytopathologist. No kidding.
No kidding, he's a famous phytopathologist. No kidding.
He's a famous phytopathologist. No kidding. With all that travel and scientisting, he also helped raise 4 pretty special dads. He took them all through Indian guides to be pals forever with my dad. He was Bald Eagle, and they were each Little Chief Rain in the Pants. Then came Cub Scouts and the Concord Youth Church Canteen.
He was a Scouts Master for the Boy Scouts for 13 years. 13 years! That's 13 years of schlepping 50 boys on wilderness camping trips every month and up to Canada for a week of canoeing every year. And that's 13 years of not losing a single scout, despite that many seem to be working on their disorienteering merit badge. No doubt about it. That's when most of his hair fell out and the rest turned gray.
In 1980, with their finest work of raising 4 boys pretty well wrapped up, Grandpa and Grammy went their separate ways.
After an early retirement from DuPont in 1985, at the young age of 58, Grandpa followed his passion to help those in need. As an American Academy of the Advancement of Science Congressional Fellow in Washington, D.C., he participated in the U.S. Congressional Committee on Hunger. He traveled to Egypt as a volunteer to help them grow better crops and feed more people. He was there when the Desert Storm War broke out.
That was 1991, the same year communism ended in Russia and Freddie Mercury died.
In his final report to Congress, he acknowledged that science has a role in solving hunger and pointed to the deeper root of the problem: humans' rights, especially women's rights.
About the time Grandpa retired from DuPont, he started dating Stephanie Peters. That prompted another move back to Delaware. That romance blossomed and they married in 1992, and 2 years later they moved their home from Delaware to Florida.
You know, I'm not sure she knew what she was in for. Adventures overseas were still definitely part of the deal. She joined him in China with the Volunteers of America, and Grandpa went on his own back to Egypt for another round, and to Barcelona and Basel. Then, around the age that all kids go exploring the world, somewhere around 71 years old, Grandpa and Stephanie signed up for the Peace Corps. They moved to American Samoa in 1998, and that's where he started the Taro Improvement Program at the University of the South Pacific. Again, doing what he could to help people feed themselves.
That was a mere 19 years ago. In the meantime, Grandpa and Steph have become multi-house construction experts, real estate speculators, and landlords. Grandpa is a volunteer for hospice and an instructor and student in the Osher Lifelong Living Institute,
Also known as Ollie, where so many of his friendships connect. The Myth Group, the WOW Group, the Dinner Group, the International Student Group, and the group that worked with the medical school to help doctors better relate to old people. All part of his big, loving Florida family.
Yup, a big life full of love, labor, and adventure. Red Stephanie and various iterations of Red Riley keep up with Grandpa on walks around the neighborhood or hikes up to Machu Picchu when he was just 83.
He'll also take any visitor who wants canoeing on the Florida seas.
And yard work. Never-ending projects and yard work. The hired hands try to keep up with him. It's like he's still running to the barn for Uncle Denzel.
Last summer, we joined him in Colorado for egg tossing and three-legged racing at the Hartshorn family reunion, along with 100 descendants from his mother and her brothers. Family. And Grandpa, there with a big embrace for anyone who will take it.
So, Grandpa, this is your life.
So far, anyway.
Like that little weird pink bunny that just keeps going and going. You keep going and going.
And going and going. That makes me smile. I love you.
We love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
We love you so very much.